Life can be overwhelming. Sometimes you just get into that mode where you end up with too much on your plate and you start to feel heavy and burdened by all your responsibilities and things that you have to do. It can feel like you're drowning in endless tasks or that everything in front of you is just too much to handle. If you relate to feeling like this, I'd like to share about what you can do when you're feeling overwhelmed. The first thing you want to do if you're feeling overwhelmed is to give yourself some breathing space. Take a step back, go outside, get some fresh air, take a walk, take some deep breaths. I know it sounds simple, but truly we have to regulate our bodies in order to calm down our nervous system so that we're not in that very anxious, intense state of feeling overwhelmed. They say that the busier you are, the more you have to meditate. You want to step into the feeling of what you want to feel instead of what you don't want to feel. So if you're already feeling anxious, overwhelmed, and stressed and tense, if you just continue feeling that way, you're gonna continue feeling that way. So you want to do things that help you do the opposite, right? You want to calm down, you want to take a breath, you want to start to relax your body physically so that you can relax your mind. Giving yourself more breathing space will allow you to recenter in your calm and in your peace, and then be able to judge the situation in front of you with a clear mind so that you can approach it from a more problem-solving point of view rather than this frazzled, chaotic point of view. Next, you can try the 10-10-10 rule. So ask yourself, how would you feel about the situation in 10 minutes, 10 months, and 10 years? So kind of looking at these 3 different time frames will allow you to gain a new perspective on your overwhelming situation. So is this something that really matters in the long term, or is it just something that feels overwhelming for the next 10 minutes? Is it going to matter in the next 10 months what you do here, or the next 10 years? Hopefully you'll realize that your situation in 10 years won't really matter that much at all, and it's just a small thing. This also helps if you're trying to prioritize all the different things you have going on. If you have too much on your plate and you're overwhelmed, ask yourself which of these things will matter more in the long term, which of these are important in the 10 years or the 10 months rather than just the next 10 minutes. Another thing you can do that's really helpful when you're overwhelmed is to journal it out. So journaling is a tool to express your emotions, your feelings, and your thoughts. It's your safe, private space to say whatever you want. Don't judge yourself. Express your feelings honestly. It feels so good to be able to have a safe and private space to let out everything, because we're often so overwhelmed and emotional in our minds, and it can be hard to navigate. It can be hard to know what to do with all of these thoughts or all of these emotions. So I find that journaling it out is a really healthy way to express yourself, express your emotions and thoughts, and it also can help you put together the puzzle. Once you put all your jumbled thoughts and emotions and words onto paper, then you can start to recognize maybe I'm thinking in a loop and I can break myself out of this loop. Or, I know the solution to this. All I have to do is XYZ, and then you proceed to make a to-do list or something about the next steps you can take. Another impactful way to deal with overwhelm is to move your body. Go out, get some exercise, whether you want to go for a walk, whether you want to do yoga, stretch, or even dance, whatever way feels good to you. Maybe it feels good to take a kickboxing class, or maybe you want to go swimming and feel how it feels to just float in the water where the sounds of the world are just drowned out by the water. There are so many benefits to exercise and moving your body, and the reason why this helps you deal with overwhelm is because it helps you take your mind off of what you have to do. Also, when your body is so tense and stressed, it's good for your body to move so you can kind of let all that energy out. You want to move the energy through your body so that you're not holding it all in your head. In general, exercise helps you de-stress, it helps you relax and loosen your body, get some circulation going. It also puts you in a better mood so that you feel better about yourself and your life. So no matter how busy you are, find time to move your body throughout the day and you will feel so much better. Before we go on to the next tips, I'd like to take a quick break and thank Nutrafol for sponsoring today's video. Stress can cause your body to respond in different ways. Thinning hair might be one of them, and I know how much that can affect your confidence. If you've been dealing with hair shedding or thinning, Nutrafol is a daily hair growth supplement for faster growing, thicker, fuller, and stronger hair. Their award-winning formula targets the root causes of thinning, such as stress, lifestyle, and nutrition. Nutrafol is physician formulated with natural ingredients and 100% drug-free. The benefits of Nutrafol include visibly thicker hair volume, visibly less shedding, hair that grows faster, stronger, and longer, and some women reported visibly thicker lashes and brows. I've been trying to grow my hair out and taking Nutrafol to help my hair grow fuller and stronger. The botanical ingredients and supportive nutrients in Nutrafol help balance your system and target the factors affecting your hair. It can take time to see results, so stay consistent. To join me on this hair growth journey, check out the limited time offer at the link in the description to get $50 off your first 3 months or $106 off the first 6 months. Promo will be applied at checkout. Another way to deal with your overwhelm is to reframe your perspective. In other words, realize that it's not that serious. This is just a shift in the way you look at your situation, because sometimes we make something so big, so important, so heavy, right? When it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that serious. You don't have to take yourself so seriously. It's not the end of the world. Oftentimes, we are the ones that put so much expectations and pressure on ourselves, and that is because maybe your parents put high expectations or pressure on you, and it became you putting that pressure on yourself, or it could be so many other reasons, right? But we have a certain bar where we set that expectation, and if we fall below that bar, we feel so terrible about ourselves, even though comparatively we're not doing as bad as we really think we are. So try to zoom out as much as possible and try to kind of release these pressures and expectations that you put on yourself. Why do you have such high expectations in the first place? Why is it necessary for you to do this? Why do you have to make yourself suffer from not meeting all these expectations? So if you can learn to realize it's not that serious, then you can start to release that inner part of you that wants to control everything. We feel overwhelmed because we feel like we want to have a control and have a handle on everything in our lives, but we don't. And it's too uncomfortable to deal with everything that is out of our control. There's so many things that we want to have done, so many things we want to be perfect or to do well. And you can learn to just let go of it. It's easier said than done, but it is possible to reframe your perspective on yourself and your life and everything that you think you have to do. You might not have to do it at all. The next thing you can do to release your overwhelm is to prioritize and let go. So why don't you try making a not to-do list instead of a to-do list? I feel like I'm always adding things to my to-do list so that it is never ending. But what if you made a not to-do list? So let's move things to, okay, it's not that important. I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna check my email 10 times a day. I'm not gonna answer text messages right when I get them, right? I'm gonna do these things in batches, or I'm gonna kind of reschedule, reframe my time so that it works for me. I find it so fun to cut things out. And I also find that it is a life skill, one of the most important life skills, to learn how to prioritize, to recognize what is truly essential, what is truly important, what matters, what do I want to put my time towards, and what is okay for me not to do. So be okay with not being able to do everything that you want to do. Be okay with letting things go. Be okay with done is better than perfect, right? Finish it, even if it's not perfect, just let it go and move on to the next thing, because you don't want to take too long so that you feel overwhelmed, that you can't finish everything that you want to finish. It's better to feel done and complete than it is to be a perfectionist, taking so long trying to do everything. It just feels like drowning and it's not fun. You don't want to be there. You want to make time for space and play. The next tip is a practical one, and it's to break down your tasks into smaller and smaller bits. This applies to when you have a project or task that feels so big that it's overwhelming, that you for some reason avoid it and run away from it and just neglect it because you don't know how to tackle it. Sometimes projects can feel overwhelming for many reasons. Maybe you don't know how to do it, you've never done it before, or maybe it's just something outside of your comfort zone that you don't feel like doing, but you do have to do it. So for things like that, break it down into smaller and smaller bits so that the next step is so small, so simple, so easy that anyone can do it. For example, if your goal is to write a book and it feels so big and overwhelming as a project, you'd want to break that down into smaller and smaller steps to the point where the next baby step would be open up a Word document and type one word. Like just type one. That's it. And then you can be done for the day. Another example would be if you're like trying to reach fitness goals and maybe you want to lose like X amount of weight, then your next baby step could be something as simple as put on my socks, put on my shoes. And then the next step, take a step outside, just one step. You can break it down into small, tiny bits so that anyone can do it. So rather than telling yourself, I want to run 3 miles every day, which sounds like a lot and it sounds overwhelming to the point where you won't do it, it's so much easier and simpler and doable to say, I'm going to put on running shoes today. I'm going to take one step outside. I could take one step, and if I don't feel like running, fine, I'm gonna go back inside. Do baby steps to the point where it's so easy and you build the momentum to do bigger and bigger things because you started so small. Another thing you can do to manage your overwhelm is to practice grounding. So grounding can be anchoring yourself to your breath. It can be just focusing on your breath and bringing yourself back to a place of like, I am alive, I am okay, I am breathing, right? Something as simple as that just like brings you back because you don't want to get caught up in the emotions and thoughts of feeling overwhelmed. You want to anchor yourself and ground yourself to something. Grounding could also be going out into nature, sitting down on the grass. I feel like that is really healing in itself. Just sitting on the grass, connecting with the earth, that's grounding. Because overwhelm is oftentimes like too much happening here in your mind and your thoughts, and it's all in the air, right? Ground yourself to the earth to remind yourself, I am here, like I am alive. And if I am a part of nature, connected to nature, like everything will be okay because nature it heals itself. Nature takes me where I need to go, and you kind of reconnect with your higher self, you connect with your inner self, you connect with the earth. It's just gonna be really helpful for you to have a routine where you regularly ground yourself, where you anchor yourself to your breath or to the present moment through your 5 senses, right? Or just ground yourself by spending time in nature regularly. That can help you manage your overwhelm in a healthy way. All right, my loves, those are my tips on how to deal with overwhelm. I just want to share a final reminder that you are doing great. You are doing enough. You are enough. Everything is okay. You will be okay. Relax. Come back to yourself and trust that you're exactly where you're meant to be. No need to do any more than what you're doing right now. All right, sending you so much love. Let me know down below if you have more tips you want to share on how you manage overwhelm, but I will see you in the next one. Bye.